Okay, so today we are here making pies, and I know that I have a coconut cream pie that I've made before, but my friend Karen has a coconut cream pie that she makes differently from me, and I think you're really going to like this. I can't wait to watch her make it because it is. She uses the microwave for one thing, and
who'd have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought? So here we go.
Okay, start off, I'm going to show y'all how to make this easy crust. I made it for the caramel banana pie, and I make it for all of my cream pies. You cannot use this crust for pecan or pumpkin or buttermilk. You still got to roll out that.
Yeah.
But if you need a crust for a cream pie, this is so good.
So with this, real quick, whenever you make it, after you make it, do you cook it first before you put the...
Yes, we're going to bake it.
Okay.
But we're going to melt the butter. We should have probably already had that butter done. We're going to melt the butter about a minute in the pie. Well, something popped. In the pie plate. And then we're going to add, this is a cup of flour, a heavy cup. So like not a cuppy.
Yeah, so mounded.
You know, a mounded cup, and then 2 heavy tablespoons of powdered sugar. And you know, I usually do all this in the pie crust, but I wanted to be prepared today. So you can kind of start stirring your powdered sugar into your flour a little bit. But honestly, when I make it, I bring that pie plate out with that melted butter, and I throw in a cup of flour, and I throw in 2 tablespoons of
and then just
powdered sugar, and I get a fork, start working it. And then you'll see.
She is a lot more organized than I am.
Well, I wanted to be prepared. When I cook, I don't measure out my stuff when I normally cook. I mean, I measure it, but I don't have it all in the little dishes.
Yeah.
I've had the little dishes, but I don't usually do it.
It is nice to have it ready.
Yeah, I think so. So, I love pies. I love to make pies. Pies are my favorite dessert, and I'm kind of the family pie maker. One Easter, I think I made 10 pies.
Good grief.
Well, everybody said, well, I want lemon meringue. Well, I want coconut. I want chocolate.
That's what I make. Everybody gives their order, and you make it all. But I like these are easier, quicker, not as time consuming.
I want to tell you something.
That's
This
nice.
is so easy and so great. And so I just start doing this, you know, just kind of mixing around. I kind of kick.
It just with a regular fork.
Yeah, just do a regular fork, and I kind of kick my flour over to the butter, you know, and because I want it all to turn out even. And then I start kind of getting more into it, stirring it around, getting that butter up in there. This is kind of like a shortbread.
Well, that's what it's reminding me of.
And it's funny because I don't make shortbread, but I have a lot of recipes like that have a shortbread crust, kind of like that chocolate. Do you ever make that chocolate delight? You know, with the chocolate putting in the cream cheese layer and the.
No, I've never made
Oh Lord,
that.
girl, really?
No, I've never. We just make different stuff, I guess.
How is
That'll
it
be that
that
have
we're
to be
from the
another
same
recipe.
area of the country?
I know.
And we got different, you know, what, as Lynn and I have moved, you know, we've moved a lot. And as we have moved, I have collected different recipes because I've lived in different parts of the country.
Well, I bet different people have shown you all kinds of different stuff to
yeah,
make.
but this is all Texas stuff, girl.
Yeah. Well, I had found out, I didn't realize it because a lot of the stuff I cook, like the gumbo and a lot of the southern foods that I cook, I always thought it was Texan. But we went on vacation to Gulf Shores, Alabama, and went to a restaurant, and they had all the foods. I mean, you don't get it in Texas. I realized my grandmother grew up. My grandmother lived in Alabama, and I cooked like my grandmother.
Wow.
So I was really cooking like I was from Alabama.
That's cool.
So that was really
Well,
more
Lynn
the
makes
style.
gumbo. He lived down in southern Louisiana when he was a little boy, and then we lived in Baton Rouge for a little while. But he makes really good gumbo. He makes good red beans and rice.
He makes everything good.
He does. He does. Okay, so here's where we are, Jody. And I just kind of clean it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're organized. I know.
And then I'm a dental hygienist,
Yeah, I
girl.
know.
It just runs.
That
It's in
says
me.
it
It's in
all.
my blood.
That is like a shortbread.
Yes, and so you just kind of pat it around, and I eventually, now, for those little tarts I made, for the first time ever, I made this crust in a bowl because I had to divide it among 6 tarts.
Oh, so you use this crust for that?
Yes, so you can make this in a bowl, but why would you make it in a bowl and then put it back in the pan?
Yeah, make cleanup as easy as
Yes,
possible.
exactly. The less I have to clean up, the better.
And
Okay.
I like that you're not rolling it out, because making
Well,
pie crust where you roll it out and all this stuff, it's so
See,
messy.
I make roll-out crust when I make pumpkin and pecan and buttermilk. And it is.
I do too. And
But this is so, I like this. I just think it's easy.
I like this too. I'm gonna
It's not
make
a lot of
this
measuring.
one.
So then I'm going to start working toward the sides now. And if I get some holes, I'll come back and fill them in. Because you want to
You're
pull
just
it up
doing
on
it
your
out,
side, yeah. And it's not fancy. It's not going to have a really pretty fluted edge or anything, but it's
Tastes
good.
good.
It's a good crust. Like I don't like a cream pie unless it has this crust. I really have
I can't
gotten
wait to
really
try it.
attached to this crust. Or I guess I should say I'm fond
Well,
of it.
with the and I haven't seen like with the powdered sugar versus the granule sugar.
Yeah, I don't. You know, this recipe. Where did I get this recipe? Oh, from my same friend that taught me, Vicky, that taught me to make my coconut cream pie in the microwave.
Oh, she sounds like she has lots of good recipes then.
Girl, she's a good cook. I've got a lot of friends like you that are good cooks.
And it's funny, and you know the reason I do this is because a lot of our kids and they don't cook, or they don't know how to cook.
The kids today don't cook.
No.
Now, my daughter-in-law
And it's-
cooks. Stacy cooks.
See, that's really
She's a
good.
good cook, and but you know most of the kids they don't cook these days. They just
No, they
don't.
don't.
Cook.
And so my idea is trying to make it simple. Showing people simple things, easy. Cooking is easy and fun.
Okay, see how I've got that now?
Yep, that looks good.
That's a little thin right there. So you want to kind of, it's not going to have a perfect consistency all the way around. It's just not possible.
But it went all the way up on the
there
side.
it went. There it went. So it's going in the oven. And it's going to go in the oven 350 degrees for about 15, 20 minutes.
So it's brown, right?
Yeah. You saw the color of that other one. So it's going in.
And we don't have one to pull
Alexa,
out ready to go.
set a timer for 15 minutes. You know, I have a love-hate relationship with Alexa. Do you have her?
No, I don't. I
Well,
don't.
I'll tell you.
want
Let me tell you
one.
something. You'll be sitting in there, just watching TV, and she'll go, "I'm sorry, I didn't get that."
We had to have a little drink to get going again. And
Cheers.
Cheers. We're having fun. Now she's going to make the filling while the crust is cooking.
Yes, and this, these were my mother's. They were a wedding gift to my parents. A set of 4. They were a wedding gift.
Oh wow!
You
know, if
believe
you go
I
to
still have all 4?
well, and if you go to a flea market and stuff, these things are.
Oh, girl.
They're people look for them.
Okay.
So, quick question: whenever you
What?
make it, because we're making it now while that's cooking.
Yeah.
Do you put it in the hot crust, or do you let the crust cool?
Oh, it just depends. I do it both ways.
It
You
doesn't-
know,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't make it
I need
soggy.
to say a disclaimer right now. I'm not a professional cook.
None of us
I just cook
are.
the way I cook.
We're just good cooks.
Well, some people are. Some people might say, "Oh, you can't put that in a hot crust," or "Oh, you can't put that
Well,
in
I
a cold
always
crust."
heard that it would make it soggy. So I always, whenever I make crust, I always let it cool off first.
Okay, here is some sugar. I think it's 2 cups. I really can't remember. No, it's 3/4 cup, isn't it? 3/4 cup. And
We'll
here's
put it
some.
at the bottom.
Shoot,
the
I hope
directions will be
I hope I
writing.
measured that right. This pie is for Pat.
She's talking about the cameraman. I call him cameraman.
cameraman. Okay. Do people not know his name? Is it?
Yeah, they know his name. He tells me call him Pat.
Anyway, this is cornstarch. You can use flour,
Flour.
but to me, flour lumps. So
Yeah.
I use
So
cornstarch.
how much cornstarch?
3 tablespoons.
3 tablespoons cornstarch, maybe 3 cups of sugar.
I think it's 3/4.
Okay.
So we get this blended. How do y'all like the way I'm stirring?
You know,
I'm never going to
There
make
you
fun
go.
of you again.
I'm rubbing off on her.
Sometimes you'll have a fork and Lynn will say, "Look, she's using that spatula to stir meat."
Hey, do what you got. It
I'm
all
about
works.
out. Okay, and this is 2 cups of milk, just regular milk. And you know, I usually, this is another thing. Somebody say, "Oh, you got to use whole milk." I don't know if this is 1%, 2%. What percent is this? 2. Okay. So we get your milk in here, and then you want to blend it.
And I'll say.
So far, is
she
this
told me-
like your pie?
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say, you told me to look at your recipe.
Is that your
It's a
recipe?
Betty Crocker recipe.
Yeah.
I have a Betty Crocker. I use a Betty Crocker recipe too. That's the one I've always done. I just wrote it out
This is,
now.
listen, I want to tell you something. This is going to end up being your same pie. You're just going to see me cook
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
differently.
that's interesting. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't do it in the microwave
So there's
because it is
that.
the same pie.
And there's that. And now what we're going to do...
So when you make the chocolate pie,
Oh, I
do
forgot
you
to
use
throw in-
that you do the chocolate?
Look at here, and it takes like, I think, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt or something. I never measure that.
Yeah, just a dash.
Yeah, and I'll stir it in.
But whenever you make the chocolate, do you use that same recipe, but then it gives you...
Yes, and then you put in the chocolate.
Yeah, yeah.
I use that cream pie for everything,
Yeah,
except the lemon
that's
meringue is
what I do.
different. Okay, here's what we're going to do now. We're going to take this, and this is where it's going to be different. We're going to the microwave. I'm too lazy to get out the double boiler, so here's what we have, and we're going into the microwave. And we're going to put it in here like that. And we're going to go about 2 minutes.
This may be my new way to make coconut cream pie.
I'm telling you, it's so easy. And we're just going to let that go around for 2 minutes, and then we're going to stir it. I'm going to get a better spoon. I'm not going to stir it with that. Okay, so we've gone 2 minutes. So we're going to take it out. It's not ready yet, but we're going to take it out. And we're just going to give it a stir. Just like when you stir it on top of
so it's not...
It's not thick at all yet. It's you know, it's blending and
Yeah.
stuff.
And it really doesn't matter if it's not whole milk, because I am one of those that it has to be whole milk.
Nope, I've used all kind of milk. Okay, so
I
let's
am
go for
the
another
milk
2
snob.
minutes.
So you do it in 2 minute
I do it in
increments?
2 minutes. As it starts getting thicker, I go down to a minute because I don't want it to get, you know, over
Yeah,
thick.
because then it kind of
That's the only
too.
thing, the difference. You've got to be careful in your microwave versus on the stove. On the stove, you have a little more control. So we've gone another 2 minutes in the microwave. I bet it's going to be thicker now. And we're going to get in here. Oh yeah, see how it's starting to thicken
Over
up?
here and see the thickness.
See
of
how
it.
it's kind of starting to get something to it?
So you can see, yeah, you see
Getting
that
thicker. And it's going back in for another 2 minutes. So I don't know, Jody, is this easier to you than
I
cooking
think
on the
so.
stove or not?
At the end, if it's easy, just seeing how that all comes together.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that is a lot. Because the other, you have to stand in front of it. You can't walk
Oh
away
no,
from it.
no.
Or it does score.
Okay, so we have cooked
So
this
look at this. Look how thick it is. And that was
three rounds of 2. So now we're going to do, and I know you do this too.
Yeah.
You kind of do your eggs.
Yeah.
And then
Add some cream to it so
to
it
temper
doesn't
the
cook it.
eggs, you're going to
Yeah.
get some of that in there.
That's exactly, yeah.
You're going to go like this.
You know, my grandmother didn't do that. I remember her one time. I was getting her
She
to help
put it
me, and
straight
she
in?
just put the egg right in. I'm like, and it's cooking. And I'm like,
Yeah, I've always
done it this way.
My mother did it this way, and so that's how I learned, of course, is from her. My mother was the queen of pies, too. She really was a great pie maker, and I think that must have been
That's
my
why you
influence, yes.
She taught you.
So, we're going to stir this in.
So does it keep thickening? Because
Yes.
it's still cooking.
Yeah, it's still going to, and so we're going back in the microwave.
Okay, with the egg.
Yeah.
But the egg is all mixed in, so it's not going to cook. I mean, it is, but it's
Yeah,
not.
it's in here, so we're going
It's already
back in.
cooking.
I'm taking this with me. And we're going to do 2 minutes again. Okay, so we've finished cooking our custard.
That was 2 minutes more?
That was, yeah, now, I checked it at a minute just to make sure it wasn't
Yeah.
getting too thick. But
So-
now it's
So you
thickened
just
up.
want to get it to this texture, to this thickness. So sometimes it might take less or more, but that's what it took us.
There's our finished pie
There's
crust.
the crust.
And this is when you're going to put in 2 tablespoons of butter. And
This is my
it's your recipe, girl. It's just
just
done
different.
differently because I used to do it on the stove too. And then a teaspoon of vanilla.
I like your little thingy.
Or, listen, those are great until you knock them over. Lynn knocked it over earlier. And then you're just going to stir. Oh, I love the smell of that.
Yeah, I
Smell
love it. I love it.
I love that.
Yes, yes.
And then you're going to put in a cup of coconut. And I'll just tell you, I guess, on this.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm not
it's
going to
just
get out.
however much you
At
want.
this stage of the game, I'm not going to get out another cup, you know.
She's not going to do that in front of y'all.
Well, I wouldn't get it out with
You don't need to because it's just.
and I'm just going to kind of, you know,
I always measure it out, but
guesstimate.
then I just kind of guess that, I eyeball
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, don't you think that's about a
Yeah.
cup? Maybe a little more?
No, it's good to me.
Depends on how coconutty you like it.
This is Pat's favorite pie.
Yeah, that's why I
she's making it.
decided to make it. I thought, now Pat should have his favorite pie. And so what we're going to do is we're going to wait just a little bit, and we are going to let this crust cool down just a bit.
Just because it's all really
and then
hot.
yeah, everything's hot. The filling's hot, and then we'll put it in, and then we'll do the meringue.
Okay.
Yeah, you started off.
We are making the meringue. We're making the top of the coconut cream. And
everything's cold. I get my bowl cold, my whisk is cold, my egg whites are cold, and I separate my eggs. I still use a little egg separator. I can't do it in the shell, so I use an egg separator.
See, I did it in the shell.
I knew you did. I just had a feeling you did. My son can do it in the shell. So anyway, I'm just going to dump my egg whites in here.
I like the idea that everything's cold. It kind of takes
it does better for some reason.
Takes the mystery out of
it. It just does better. So we're going to get a 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. That's a half. I tell you, this not being able to see as well is hard. There's no telling what I'm going to mix up. Okay.
It is sometimes hard to see, and
everything's hard to see.
And the 6 and the 8.
I've got those contacts that supposedly have the bifocals in them, but
well, that's what I had. Yeah, the contacts sometimes don't do the trick.
A 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar going in. And so once you get your cream of tartar in, you're going to start whipping them on high. And I'm going to get my vanilla ready.
Now, how much sugar do you put in yours?
I think that's 6 tablespoons.
Yeah. That could be a shot glass.
Yeah. So here's our vanilla. And we're going to go ahead and put our vanilla in now.
See, that's enough. I don't do vanilla in the meringue. It's interesting because everybody cooks differently.
Well, it's just in that cookbook, so.
Yeah.
And okay, see how it's getting foamy?
Look at it.
I guess that's what they call soft peaks.
Yeah.
So now that it's foamy, I'm going to start adding my sugar. 6 tablespoons.
And you see it starting to thicken up, making tea.
We're going to thicken it up. Okay. Let's see if I think that's ready. We're going to go ahead and put our filling in our pie. This is so good.
I'm loving this way to make this.
I love the smell of this. I love the taste of this. This is another. See, my mother always used a spatula like this, and we'd like, Mom, no, we want to lick the bowl.
I know you want some to lick.
But no, she'd get
Gotta
every
use
bit.
all of it.
And Lynn does the same thing. He loves a spatula. I've just
Yeah.
learned to like a spatula. I don't love it, but it's okay. But it does do a nice job. And so you just kind of spread it in here.
You know, there's more steps to this than the banana. The caramel banana.
The caramel banana's a breeze.
But this is still easy.
But look how good that is.
Yeah, this is really
Get
easy.
some of that off your finger. See if it tastes good.
Mmm. Very good.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I love coconut cream.
I do too. So now we're going to top it with our meringue. Just get it out of there. And I'm going to get that. Oh, this meringue's nice, Lynn.
Perfect.
Now I'm going on here like this. The secret is that cold bowl. I'm telling you, this cold bowl.
It is. That's a great idea.
Look at it, and it even as humid as it is today. Look how this is gonna.
Yeah.
This is gonna stand up nicely.
Very nice.
Get it all out.
I think my daughter might make a cream pie this way.
And then you seal up your edge. And I'll tell you something I've learned in the years of making meringue pies. My meringue used to get wet around the edge, kind of weeping. And I Googled and Googled and Googled, what am I doing wrong? And everything I came up with said I wasn't cooking the meringue long enough.
Really?
So I try to leave my meringue in there and cook it as long as I can. I don't want to burn it, of course.
I always wonder, because mine does that.
That meringue, and especially if you do a really big, thick meringue, you just have to cook it until it's kind of crispy. You know how sometimes it's crispy on top?
Yeah.
That's really how you want it to keep it, because it'll still be undone
underneath.
underneath.
See, and I've always thought of it as done. Just you
Me
want to
too.
get the,
Me too.
just
Me
want to get the
too.
little toasty on it.
This is where, you know, I like to do my
Yeah.
meringue puffs up. I know some people put coconut on top of their meringue in a coconut cream pie, but I don't like the way it burns. So this is my coconut cream pie. We're going in the oven with this meringue for
Yeah.
about 25 minutes.
Ooh,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, isn't that pretty?
This is really nice.
You like the way I like my
Yes.
own food?
I know. Pat, you're gonna love this pie.
This is for Pat, cameraman.
Cameraman, this is your pay.
And here is our coconut cream pie made in the microwave.
Can't wait to try. Okay, y'all are gonna love this. Y'all are gonna be doing this one from now on. I think this is the only way I'm gonna make coconut cream from now on. Because I know that that filling tastes just like mine.
That's
It's
right.
really good.
You did the taste test.
Yes, we did. So thanks for watching. And be sure to like my channel. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate you watching and I hope you like these recipes. There's more to come. Bye.